back to another video. My name is Sarah. If you're new here, my husband and I have 11 children and we'd love to share our large family life, the fun and the chaos of it all, and also how we try to keep our life healthy and affordable. And today I want to show you how we have replaced all of our family's lotion. We replaced it with tallow balm, and tallow is really good for you. It's an animal fat, it's beef fat actually, and because it's an animal fat, it works really well in conjunction with our own skin. And so not only is it really, really good for us, the way we do it, it is much more affordable than the lotion we were buying before. Lotions are full of a lot of ingredients that are actually not very good for us, and so this way we can control exactly what the ingredients are. It's very few ingredients, and we can make it smell the way we want to. So today I'm going to take you through that. It's actually probably going to take me a few days to film this video. We've done it before about 9 months ago. We made all our lotion, our own tallow balm, rather, and the only thing about it is it was a little bit on the beefy smelling side. So even after the scents we put in there, it smelled a little beefy to us. And so I've done a lot of research in the last 9 months, and I'm excited about this because I'm going to make it without that smell, and I'm confident that we can get it done. So this is a little bit of a science experiment today. We do a lot of science experiments basically in our kitchen all the time, always learning, which I think is awesome because my kids are learning along with me. First, I'm starting out with a bag of tallow. We buy a whole cow at a time. If you buy any portion, like a quarter of a cow or half a cow, you can ask them for the tallow or the fat to be included with your order. So for us, I think we pay from this butcher, we pay $1 a pound just because they grind it up for us, which is super, super helpful. We have another butcher that we get fat from, I think it's from our pigs that we got, and that would be lard. And they don't chop it up quite so tiny. So I really do appreciate that. And as you can see, it's a lot of little pieces, so it will melt down very easily. There's a couple ways you can get your own tallow. First of all, you could ask a butcher, even if you're not buying some beef, because often they have extra and they'll sell it to you. Another way is I've heard that you can actually buy tallow already rendered down at Costco, which would probably be pretty affordable too. So definitely check that out. I know you can get it from other places like Amazon and different places that are expensive, but I would definitely check out the Costco price on that tallow if you're interested in skipping this first step. But I'm going to start all the way from the fat just because that's all I got. So I have a crock pot here. Crock pots are really nice for this job because it cooks it just slow, and that's what we want. When it cooks too fast, you can burn it. I have done that before, and then it becomes chicken food at our house. So I'd much rather not do that. That smell is hard to get rid of. So I'm just going to turn this on low, and I'll keep checking back and checking in with you as it cooks down and becomes liquid form. It's been about an hour, still melting down. We don't have much liquid yet. This is not a hard thing to do at all. It's just a slow process, so I like to pick a day or two when I'm around the house a lot. But even if I'm leaving a lot, it's not a big deal because it's just gotta keep checking in every few hours or so. Checking back in a couple hours later. We got a lot of action in our house today because it's a birthday. Lots of excited voices. See, the much more liquid has come out. And it's leaving a little brown in some parts. So I'm gonna let it go a little longer. It's just still just set on low. Alright guys, you remember when I told you I'm trying new things? Well, I decided to go ahead and add the water now. I was going to add it at the second step, but I don't know. I just was sitting here watching more videos and I'm like, I think I need to just add it for the first one. So this may add a little time here as that comes to the same temp and gets warm with it, but the wet rendering I think is really going to help me get that beef smell out, and starting from the beginning might help. I didn't really measure anything. I just used a quart jar because it's like a third of my crock pot. Not measuring, but I just know I need some water in there, I think. Which is something I have never done before. You can dry render it or whatever they call it, and just strain out the fat. And that's great for cooking. That's what we've always used. And we obviously used it for our lotion before, but I'm really trying here to get some pure, clean smelling tallow balm. Oh, hold up. I'm going to add salt too. I think this helps purify it even more. Not measuring, once again. Alright, a little while later it's all boiling slowly together again, which is great. I am encouraged by the fact that the water and salt made it look more murky at the top, like that black stuff and the impurities, so to speak, have risen to the top. So I think this is going to help us accomplish our goal. Okay, I left the house for a while. It was Noelle's 10th birthday. I can't remember if I said that or not, but we took her out to lunch, my husband and I, and it's looking nice and murky now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and start straining it, although I might give it just a minute to cool down. Okay, here we go. I just didn't have like a scooper. Can't find it. But I'm just putting this into a strainer with cheesecloth, and I'm going to go through all of this. I should probably keep some of the fat pieces out so I have a lot of room. And then those leftover pieces, which I think some people call crackles, can't remember, I will give to the dogs. I have saved before, let them dry out a little bit and put them on salads. They're pretty good. But this time the dogs are going to get a treat. So I'll go through all of this, straighten it all out, and then I'll show you the next step. It does smell very beefy in here, and I've made tallow, like I said before, tallow balm with that beefy smell. It doesn't last long once it's on your skin, but at first it can be a little off-putting. I've always put a lot of smells in it, that flavorings that help that, but it's going to be great to have some that does not smell like beef, so I'm excited about this. Here's my final product, nice and yellowish brownish, right? I'm going to cool this just slightly because I don't want my bowl to break, but then I'm going to put it in the fridge. So last night it was very soft. This is out of the fridge, and I put some fingerprints in it, but it was too soft. It wasn't like a hard disc. This morning I can't even loosen it, so I'm going to leave it for a few minutes. It's so hard, but as you can see, it's white at the top and dark at the bottom, which is exactly what we want. I just need it to be able to come out, loosen up here. It is good usable tallow right now, although it still smells beefy when I rub it on my own hands. I've been using tallow now for a year on my skin, and my skin honestly has never been so good. My hands never crack anymore. I used to have cracking, bleeding hands every single winter because it's very dry and cold here in the winter. And my skin on my face, everything is way better. Initially, when you put tallow balm on and you're used to other kinds of lotions and balms, it feels a little greasy, but it soaks in right away. And you just get used to that. It's like greasy initially, and then you keep rubbing it in a little, and your skin soaks it in very, very well. So there are a whole lot of benefits to tallow on your skin. I won't go into all of them, but you can look them up yourself. But it is by far a superior product for your skin when you see all the vitamins that you get from it, and it's supposed to be anti-aging too. So okay, just while I was talking to you, it softened up enough that I was able to push it out. So I'm gonna pull this right on out. As you can see, the whole thing is a disc. I'm gonna scrape this. This part is real soft underneath anyway. It's where the water, it's like jelly. And I want to scrape all of the white off. I want it to be pure. So you see how it's white under there, under that brown. I will give the leftovers to the chickens. We gave everything to the chickens around here. Chickens or dogs. I'll scrape it without the camera here so I can get it pure white. Okay, that's what I had left. My product is pretty clean right now. Now I'll cut it up and put it back in the crock pot with a little more water this time and more salt. Tallow makes such a great cooking fat. We use it all the time, but I think I'm going to start doing this process just to make it an even better product that doesn't have any flavor compared to having the fat that tastes a little like beef. We're going to set it back on low in the crock pot as we melt this down. We brought this back up to boiling. And now I'm going to do the same thing as yesterday where I just strain it through this cheesecloth and a colander.
and put it back in the fridge. And now we'll get that back to the fridge again.
All right, guys, it's the next day. I probably could do this whole process faster, especially if I put it in the freezer instead of the fridge. And I just stayed on top of it more, but I had the time. I don't care if it takes days. I'm saving so much money here. I love that. Okay, so I just pulled this out of the fridge. It was a little easier to break the seal right away. One thing I noticed, okay, I had put more water, so there's a lot of water at the bottom, you can see. It's nice and white on top. But I noticed last night when I had just kind of pet it a little, got some of that tallow, that it does smell still a little like beef. So we're gonna do the process again, just do it again. And each time in between, I have cleaned my crock pot well. I've cleaned everything I've used well, so we're starting fresh each time. I'm not sure how many times it will take, but it's totally worth it to just get all of that smell out. I believe that if I would have used just leaf fat from the cow, that it would probably only take these 2 times and then I'd be done, but I'm not sure what kind of fat I've got that I'm working with, and that's fine with me. I just might have to clean it more times because of that. So the leaf fat is a little easier, I think, to get it nice and clean smelling, as in no smell at all, with just a couple of times of this process. Here's what it looks like underneath, just a little bit of brown. The water looks much clearer. I'm going to scrape off all the brown. And we'll put it back in the crock pot. Round 3. This part takes very, very little time, so it's easy to do it over days. Just when you have a few minutes, I'll get it melting down with the water and salt again until it's boiling, so just a couple hours on low. Then I'll strain it into the bowl once again, and we'll keep going. The smell of that tallow is much, much less than the first time, though, I will say. And even the smell, that second round of cooking it in the crock pot, the whole house smelled a lot less. So I know we're making good progress. Okay, guys, I have just been looking at this for about 10 minutes a day, maybe less. And so this is day 4. Yesterday I noticed that it still smelled quite beefy. I was surprised at how much for the 3rd time. Of course, I'm not using the best of the fat, but I should be able to get it out. I know that from all the research I've done. So what I did is I actually just let it boil for a lot longer. I set it before church, and I didn't deal with it till we got home. So it was like 4 or 5 hours in the crock pot on low, and it didn't burn or anything, but you can see there's a lot bigger spot on it. And it's smelling much, much cleaner, but it's not quite where I want. It's not odorless yet. So I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to also just do water and salt again, but do it a lot longer so that it's at that low boil for a couple hours at least, 2 or 3. And I think we'll probably be done after this. Then we can move on to making a beautiful whipped balm using the scents I love. Okay, I have done the whole process a couple more times since I showed you. It was a fun experiment just to see how long it actually takes. I just popped it out of a water bowl right now. This last one I did not add salt, just the water. We dug into it last night, as you can see, to put on our hands. But there's just a little bit left, and it's smelling very good, so very clean. So I scraped off that little bit of sediment. This is a great cooking fat that is tasteless and odorless at this point. But we're going to go ahead and make it into lotion for our whole family, face cream, even some of my kids use it for chapstick. A good all-around product that is much healthier than cheap lotions and much, much cheaper than the very, very clean things you could find on the market. So next up, I'm melting my tallow down once again. I don't really know how much I have, so I'm going to try to measure it before I add the oil. But then you need to add a liquid oil, about 1/4 cup per 1 cup of tallow. So I'm going to use olive oil, and I'm using this double boiler method that's Jimmy rigged here, just because I don't want to burn it in any way. I measured it into here and realized it's about 5 cups. So I will do 1 1/4 cup of olive oil in there. All right, it's done. It's all melted together. At this point, I could just put it in a small jar. It would solidify, and then you have some nice lotion. However, and you could add a scent too. However, I like to whip it up. That's what I've done every time. So I'm going to put it in a bowl and transfer it to the fridge to get it
closer to the solid stage quicker, but then we're going to do another step. Okay, I had it in the fridge just an hour or two, and this is the consistency. I'm gonna put it in my food processor. You could use a blender. I've used a hand mixer. I think the higher power, the better probably, because sometimes I've had a little oil separation later over time, but this food processor is gonna do a good job. We're gonna do about half almond extract with it. I love that smell. And then we'll do half vanilla extract. The vanilla is great for repelling mosquitoes. Oh, it's still a little bit, oh, there's some water in it. The vanilla is great for repelling mosquitoes in the summer, so we're doing some of that too. And some of my kids like this smell better, and some like this smell better. I've done essential oils before, not a big fan. I'm making sure that there was some water in here. I've never wet rendered it before, so I'm not used to that, and I know the water will make it go bad quicker. So I made sure I poured off as much water as I could.
Actually, I would put it 75 minutes. We'll start.
Turns out this thing, the good old-fashioned one, would work the best for whipping it up nicely. It smells so good. I've got all these little jars that I'm filling, and it's perfect. It smells like cookies. That's what they all agree, all the kids that have come and tried it. It's very good with that almond extract. That's what does it, I tell you. There are all those bottles I made, plus a couple my kids took, even a couple more up here. They don't really need to be refrigerated. I never had tallow go bad, but I do like to just keep it in the fridge until someone takes it to their room to use it, to open it. So it just keeps it nice and solid. That's it. It is very easy. It took me so little time each day. I love the process of cleaning it because I think we'll like the product so much better. My kids were very impressed with the smell. If you're like me, you know the health benefits of tallow, you just are not sure you want to tackle that project, I am gonna link down below. That was me the first year. I just bought it, and a little bit goes a long way, so you can buy a little bottle and it'll last you a long time. I'll link a couple of my favorites that I've tried down below if you just wanna buy it and see if it's even worth it to you to put in that kind of effort. Otherwise, like I said, you can buy tallow. In the last 5 days, I've definitely seen where people are getting it at Costco, so check that one out. If I find one on Amazon, I'll link that too, but I will also link the little jars we use. I have done just little glass mason jars just fine as well. Both work, but I got those jars off of Amazon, and I think there were 35 of them, so that was a great deal. It's such a great money saver, and I love it when it actually saves money and it's much better for us. So for me, it's a big win-win. I would love to say that I'm selling some of this and I'll send it to you, but I'm not there yet. So thank you guys so much for watching today. If you've tried it out, or if you have some tricks that you love for making tallow balm that I didn't do that you would think I might like, love to hear from you. We'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.